He got back last night.
You were still looking at the numbers.
Oh my God.
That's what I was gonna say, we're still working. It's gonna be months.
See you in October.
I give you exactly the time.
You know what, I'll give you that spreadsheet that we worked on.
But if you don't keep them away, then I can do it like go to real estate. Audio though, but I re-listened to it.
We'll call to order the City of Dunnellon City meeting of July the 12th, 5:30. Could we all please stand for the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Does anybody like to make a prayer? If not, we'll have a moment of silence. Amen. Okay. And you want to call roll?
Mayor Dunn,
Here.
Vice Mayor Inskeep,
Here.
Councilperson Mendoza.
Here.
Councilman Lehman,
Here.
Councilwoman Covich. Present. Jan Smith, Finance Officer. Here. Chad Ward, Public Works Manager.
Here.
Julie Danowski, Records Clerk. Here. Chief Scaglione,
Here.
Lieutenant Bray.
Here.
Miss anybody? Oh, and we also have Mike Rankin here from LPG Planning Service. The agenda for this meeting was posted on the city's website, City Hall Bulletin Board on Wednesday, July 5th, 2023. The agenda was amended on July 10th, 2023 to add back up to item number 6. And again on July 12th, 2023 to add new item number 4.
Okay.
I'm sorry. City Attorney Andrew Hand.
I'm here.
I thought she missed somebody. Couldn't think who it was. All right.
Sorry, Andrew.
Not a
Does
problem.
anybody on the council have any comments regarding this agenda? We all good with it? Questions, okay. Now we will keep everybody in the loop on this. We do allow public comments for 3 minutes. You can speak now. You will also have an opportunity to speak on the various agenda items as each item comes up on the agenda. So I would ask you to speak at this time if you would like to on non-agenda items. Is anybody signed up?
No, sir.
Okay, is anybody in the audience like to speak on a non-agenda item? Okay. Is anybody on Zoom, Mandy?
No, sir.
Okay, we're good. Okay. And again, as we proceed through the normal meeting agenda, you will be allowed, the public will be allowed to make comments concerning those agenda items as they're being discussed. Okay. The first item is the items on the consent agenda. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 items on the consent agenda. Does anybody in the public have a comment on any of these items?
Mayor, we would need to remove
Okay.
agenda item number 3
3.
Attorney Hand has advised us to remove that because the backup that was published with that is not the most recent version of that contract. And he would like to point out his changes that he made to it.
Okay, well, that's fine. We'll take number 3 off. Got it. So then we're just talking about items 1, 2, and 4.
And 5.
Have something on the vertex,
And-
is that the?
Vertex is the police IT.
Isn't that the one that we need to make sure we get passed?
I think we may still be
You can
doing
still
that through
have
a
it on the
motion,
regular agenda.
right?
Oh, yeah, it's being moved.
Okay, I just
Yeah.
wanna make sure.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
being moved to the regular agenda.
Oh, hold on. I must be looking on an agenda that's old. Hold on. You were correct. There are 5 items. All right, I'm sorry. So we're going to cover on the consent agenda will be items 1, 2, 4, and 5. Okay. On the consent agenda is anybody in the public like to make a comment on any of these consent agenda items? Anybody on council like to have a comment on any of these consent agenda items? And again, we're not discussing item number 3. It will be put on the regular agenda. Okay. Can I get a motion to accept and approve the consent agenda items as presented?
I move second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Who was the second on that?
Right.
Rex? Who made the
Well, I thought you did the motion.
motion? Who was the second? Rex made the motion.
Okay,
I can't make the motion.
I'll second.
okay, I make the motion that we
Okay.
accept the consent agenda.
Okay,
second.
all right. Now, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, accepted as presented. Okay,
Now, if you want to go ahead and move to number 2.
yeah, let's, since 3 is no longer on the consent, let's just put it next. Has to do with an authorization of the mayor to sign an agreement, AGR 2023-17, with Vertex Consulting. And Andrew, you have some comments on that?
Yes, sir. In talking with staff, it just appears that what is appearing on the agenda on the city website is not the version that is in the city's backup folder. And so the version on the agenda website doesn't have a few changes in there. And these are changes that are essentially required to comply with Florida law. Just these changes here, we see some changes to confidentiality that provide for the fact that this is a city and hence subject to Florida public records, and that regardless of what the provisions say in confidentiality, the city is obligated to comply with Florida law. We also have a limitation in indemnification that follows to make it clear that we're not waiving any of the statutory standards, even if the city were to be, for some reason, sued in tort,
Right.
where the limits don't apply if they're not put into the contract. So that places that into the contract, and then we have the mandatory public records language. That's it. Nothing that at least I believe that any vendor would find objectionable, and at least it's my understanding that the vendor did these.
Okay, the vendor did agree to them, you think? Or you hadn't heard that it didn't?
Jan, it was forwarded to them?
I believe so. I want to double check and just make sure. I would think they have a problem. And if they do, then we'll address.
It was,
that time.
yeah, it was my understanding that it was, but if there is still some uncertainty, what council can do tonight, regardless, is still approve this for. We have that meeting on Monday.
Right.
Staff can get in touch with Vertex tomorrow, and if there is some sort of a hiccup, we can address that between now and Monday and slap it on the agenda there and get it taken care of, because I know this isn't important then.
Yes, yes, it is. Okay. Does anybody up here have any comments or issues with any of this? All good with this? Okay. Is there any public comment on this Vertex agreement from the public? Okay. Is there anybody out there in Zoom land commenting or anything? Okay,
No, sir.
we're good. Okay. Okay, can I get a motion that to approve this so I can sign it, assuming Vertex agrees with it.
I motion that we authorize the mayor to sign agreement ARG 2023-17 with Vertex Consulting.
Okay, can I get a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion up here? All good? Okay,
No.
all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, passes unanimously. And I agree, Andrew, if they have any pushback, we can put it on Monday's agenda, on which we'll have a meeting and we can vote on it again or approve it. Okay. Hopefully this takes care of that item. All right. Now, I'm not sure I'm reading from the right place here. Okay, and item number 6 is a resolution RES 2023-11 on the surplus vehicles. There's a list of those that will provide. Hold on a second. I know I've seen it. That we have as a city, we're just trying to clean up some issues with some excess vehicles and vehicles no longer working, and we want to get rid of them, so we don't have to pay insurance and taxes and all that good stuff. So now there is one, and the chief may want to address this, where actually one of these items is a truck that I believe will be traded in on a new truck. So it will not actually be surplus sold. It's going to be traded in. And you want to comment on that, chief?
Before the chief does,
Okay.
we wrote the ordinance so that it has, so the ordinance includes can be traded in to any licensed dealer.
Right.
So that should cover that.
Because Chad is gonna take probably the dump truck and the bucket truck and trade those as well.
Right.
So the way it's written is the property outlined in the exhibit is declared a surplus. Some of it will go to Weeks Auction or trade with Duval Ford, or other approved licensed dealer.
So it takes care of the chief's truck issue right there.
It takes
Right.
care of the Chiefs and the 2 trucks that
Anything
Chad
else?
wants to trade.
Right. Gotcha.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Sorry.
Just on the truck issue, the purchase of a past police vehicle was made in 2022, but the vehicle didn't come in until 2023. So it was paid for by the 2023 budget, the 2022 budget.
Mhm.
So the money that was spent for that vehicle was $30-some thousand. There's, I believe, $17,000.
There's $11,000 remaining.
Of the 50,
Right.
If the vehicle, if you authorize the chief to go in and order the vehicle and get past this information
Right.
to you all earlier, it's
Right.
saving the $4,000.
Right.
If you authorize to move forward with ordering the vehicle now.
Hmm.
And if it comes in by September 30th, I would present a budget amendment to bring in money from the sales tax reserve. That would also free up the money to the budget for next year for a vehicle, like a trade-off.
Right.
If it doesn't come in until after September, then the money's budgeted.
Right.
With that vehicle is got. So, and that's what happened. It came in, the vehicle that was ordered in 22, it came in 23. If I remember correctly, we paid for it on Thursday. So it just missed that deadline.
All right. Okay.
So that the price of the truck with the trade-in is $29,000.
Mhm.
There's $11,000 left over right now, so we have to bring in.
Oh, I'm sorry, 17,000.
17,000.
So there's 17,000 left, so we would have to bring 11,000 over from next
Right.
year's. capital.
okay.
Right.
And as far as the truck for, I'm sorry, Wally,
Go ahead.
as far as the truck for the 23-24 or vehicle for the 23-24 budget, we can discuss that when we do the 23-24 budget.
Yes, but we still would need to leave it in there because he's just ordering this. We don't know.
Oh, no, I understand that. Gotcha. I'm
how
with you
that
there.
money will be spent.
Right.
If we pay for it by September 30, that money is in the budget, but it's really not going anywhere.
Gotcha.
Following it. I got it. Y'all have any questions about it? You following the money?
I'll follow.
No, I think honestly, reading this schedule and especially looking at the documents that Chief provided concerning how we're trading it in and all, I kind of followed it, so I'm okay with it.
And with the vehicles right now, they're like, we don't know when the vehicle, you order it now, we can't tell you when it's gonna come. Could
Right.
come in, 30 days, could come in 6 months, could be a year.
Right.
But if we get it on as a 2023 vehicle, it's $4,000 cheaper than if we wait and order a 2024 vehicle. after
Got it.
September.
Okay.
So,
I have a question on these vehicles going to week's auction. Would they be selling in August or September?
We haven't gotten that far, Jan,
Haven't
yet.
got that far
Right.
yet. Okay.
We're gonna pass that and then, between the dump truck, I think the chief's pretty sound on what he's doing. Public Works, we still gotta work out, some scheduling logistics based on, when the, dealers get back with Public Works for the estimates and everything we've been asking for. So it'd be more,
we have 2 vehicles if we go to weeks.
Right. I saw that, yeah. Good deal. All right. Anybody else got any questions on this? Just following the vehicles around. I guess, do we have, any comments up here with this? Are we all good with this?
Mhm.
Anybody in the public have any comments, they'd like to make about this, disposing of these vehicles? Again, looks like we may be trading in the pickup and a couple more in Public Works, and then the rest of them would be sold through Weeks liquidation over in Ocala.
actually, Wally, I do have a question.
Sure.
Would, this dealer is not willing, or the vehicle's not in shape for this dealer to take, your 2 vehicles?
Didn't even approach that. I just went with the truck now.
Because we don't get much from Weeks.
Right, I'll reach back out to them and ask them. If we give you 3 vehicles, what will you give me? But then I'll have to come back and ask for something for you guys, right? Or does that one?
You just go ahead,
Okay.
and as my opinion, and then if you get something, or it does, I agree with you,
Right.
if he will trade, say there was a Ford Explorer
Expedition or something.
or Expedition, yeah, if
That-
that one, and it seemed like it's an 09, you might get a lot more than you get at Weeks for it.
Right. We're getting like $500 out of Weeks, and if they're in value that,
Just ask and
that,
send it
that,
out to you guys and.
that will not stop this from happening.
Mhm.
You know, we still can authorize that, and move ahead, but if you could get those 2 vehicles to bring the cost of this truck down, that'd be great. And then we would definitely get more from them if we'll entertain it, than we will from Weeks.
Can do.
The Crown Vic, I don't think you'll get more than $500 for that. Whatever. All right, whatever. Okay. Any public comments on this? I think I've already asked that once. All right, if not, I have a motion to go forward with the surplus sale of these vehicles or trade-in of these vehicles.
So I move resolution RES 2023-11 be read by title only.
Yes. Can I have a second?
Oh, second.
Okay. And well,
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
We need a separate motion, approving the purchase of a new vehicle.
okay,
2023 Ford 150 crew cab.
Can we get through the resolution and then we can talk about
I'm
that?
sorry.
Okay.
okay. All right, we've had a proposed motion and a second to
Read by title only.
read my title only.
Vote,
Okay,
vote.
Oh, to read by title only?
yeah, we're ready to vote. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Resolution number RES 2023-11, a resolution of the city of Dunnellon, Florida, declaring certain property as surplus and providing for disposal thereof.
okay. Now,
Motion to approve.
motion to approve. Can I get a motion to approve this resolution?
I make a motion that we approve it.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on that? We're still good? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Now, Jan, your
Yes.
question, I think we do have to talk about buying a truck as a separate item. Okay. Good move. With that, I know the chief discussed it. It's 2023 F-150 four-door XL. Whatever that is. Okay. So we need a motion to purchase that.
I make a motion that we approve the police department in purchasing a 2023 Ford F-150 crew cab truck.
Second,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear, who are we purchasing this from?
This is for the police department.
Say that again?
It's for the police department.
this is the motion that
Now,
actually,
who are we purchasing it from?
oh, I'm sorry.
Right now, it looks like Duval. What is this? Duval Ford, yeah,
Where are they located?
Jacksonville.
Thank you.
I can just add in, Jan, they're one of the government. That's on the government list,
Got it.
so we get a lot better
Got
break.
it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay. All right, we got a motion to do that in a second.
Second,
Okay. Any discussion up here? I think we've already discussed that there'll be a trade-in on that as well. And so this just puts in motion the purchase of the truck. And again, if you end up trading in another vehicle with it, we'll just take care of that when it comes up. Okay. All right. Any public comment on that? Okay. If not, we need a vote up here. All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
All opposed? Okay, passes unanimously. All right. All right. Resolution RES 2023-12 surplus modular office trailer. Do we have any public comment on that? Nothing appeared to be. And I get a motion to this resolution to be read by title only.
I move resolution RES 2023-12 to be read by title only.
Okay,
Second.
okay. Any discussion up here? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Okay,
Resolution number RAS 2023-12, a resolution of the city of Dunnellon, Florida, declaring certain property as surplus and providing for disposal thereof.
okay. Good deal. All right,
I
Yeah.
move that resolution 2023-12 be approved.
okay. Need a second?
Second,
All right, any discussion up here? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, good deal. That should take care of all those wonderful little things. Now we go to a quasi hearing, judicial hearing statement. Please tell me you can read this because I can't.
That's why I got a drink of water. It's gonna take me a second. All witnesses addressing the city council in these quasi judicial hearings will be asked to limit their comments to the specific subject. Witnesses should disclose any personal interest or relationship and any business, professional, or financial interest with any individual, group, project, or proposal regarding the subject matter under review. Witnesses should always err on the side of more public disclosure, not less, in order to provide integrity to the public process. Testimony will be limited to 3 minutes per witness unless the applicant, staff, or affected person requests an extension of time. A request for extension of time will be considered by the council to ensure all parties have a full and fair opportunity to participate without undue repetition and delay. Public input is valued by the council. However, in order to foster mutual respect, personal comments should not be directed toward council members or staff. Members of the public shall refrain from interrupting the speaker at the podium. At the conclusion of these hearings, the city council of the city of Dunnellon will make a decision whether to approve the applicant's request. All witnesses will be sworn in and will testify under oath. All persons presenting evidence will state their name and residence address for the record. All documentary evidence will be marked as an exhibit and maintained as part of the record if accepted by council. After each witness testifies, Any councilman may question the witness. The owner is entitled to cross-examine each witness after his or her testimony and shall do so by asking questions of the witness or rebut the witness's testimony by presenting contrary testimony or document after a witness testifies.
Okay. We're at agenda item number 8. Quasi judicial hearing site plan review SPL 2023-0085 site plan application PZ 2023-0085 PS Coffee, LLC, Pittman Engineering, PE, notification to the applicant and adjacent property owners on June 26, 2023. It is now 5:55 PM. I close the regular meeting and open the quasi judicial hearing to discuss site plan review SPL 2020-0085 site plan application PZ 2023-0085 PS Coffee, LLC, Pittman Engineering, PE, notification to applicants and adjacent property owners on June 26, 2023. Andrew.
I would just ask that anyone who'll be providing testimony on this item, please stand and raise the right hand. Do you promise to tell the truth in the testimony you're about to give?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. I've been sworn in.
Okay. All right. Discussion of the contacts, ex parte communication and other evidence gathered by and decision-making body, the mayor. I guess that's me. Okay. Then well, I just open this up for discussion by them.
All it is, Mayor, that the ex parte, it's just asking each of the council members, and I can ask
Oh.
everybody collectively, has anyone had any ex parte communications on this matter that they need to disclose at this
No,
time?
I have not.
No.
No disclosures, then certainly can move into presentation, sir.
Okay. All right. Is there anybody on the staff who wants to, you're not doing a presentation, but Mike, you are, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Why don't you get up, do your presentation?
Good evening, Mayor, members of the commission, staff, and the audience. For the record, Michael Rankin, the managing partner for LPG Land Planning Group, currently serving for your land planning needs. 2 projects for you tonight. The first one is, as the mayor mentioned, for PS Coffee LLC. This is really a drop-in. They're dropping a building into an existing car park or parking lot. The first response on the site plan was 6th of March, which the applicant then responded addressing the parking buffer, landscaping, and the dumpster for the 20 by 40 building. And that was satisfied on the 13th of April. We had planning and zoning on June 20th. Lots of questions. I believe they were successfully answered by Planning and Zoning Commission and unanimous approval for this. But they are basically taking, can you go to the Blue Line site? If you can see the highlighted area to the top, you can see where the building would lay, the improvements to the existing parking lot there. You can see how the traffic would facilitate into lineup to buy your coffee and roll out of the area. There are no interior seats. And you can also see to the left upper corner there, you can see a dumpster that is properly enclosed. So with several conversation, communication, the applicant did receive a favorable recommendation by LPG to move forward with site plan approval. And the applicant is here tonight by way of their engineer if you have any questions.
All right. Are you the property owner?
No, I'm with the engineering firm.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Robert Davis, Columbia County Pittman Engineering.
Okay.
He pretty much covered everything. So I mean, if y'all have questions,
Explain it. How big was this building?
it's a 20 by 40. Basically, it's a drive-through on each side of the building.
Uh-huh.
If you go to any of the larger counties, there's 6 of them, or 7 of them. I mean, they're everywhere.
Uh-huh.
There's no inside seating, so it's just drive-through, grab your coffee and exit. Like he said,
Mayor, can I approach?
Sure.
Show you on the map here. Excuse me. You can, here's the building right here.
Right.
That's the actual building. There's the dumpster, and then there's the.
Gotcha.
There's egress.
How do you get water to that thing?
I was gonna ask, how do utilities,
You
right?
get water from utilities, is it
so
underground?
the utilities will be coming. There's a water line to Hardee's already that we'll be connecting to.
Right.
So they'll either directional drill or they'll tear up the asphalt there. That'll be up to the contractor.
Gotcha. Okay.
Connecting.
Okay.
Okay.
And sewer, same thing. There's a line running to Hardee's there that we're connecting to.
Okay.
Got it. No, it's sounds like a quick way to do something. I just didn't understand how you got all the power and the water and the sewer.
Yes, sir. They, like he said, it is an existing parking lot,
Mhm.
but it'll be regraded with all the stormwater collected through 3 inlets.
Mhm.
So honestly, the parking lot probably drained better after construction than it currently does, because
Okay,
it's an older site.
sure.
I have a question. How many parking spaces are actually associated with the building business?
With the building itself, we only need about 3 to 4, the
For
most.
employees?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. But we made sure to replace all the existing parking spots that were there. We actually proposed 4 more than what's existing there for overflow purposes. And there'll be more landscaping than currently. There's only like 2 islands out there now, as you see, there's 6 islands, I believe,
Mhm.
the landscaping, so it'd be better vegetated.
Is electric underground or overhead?
That would be underground too.
I have one more question.
Yes,
And,
ma'am.
and this is about, I went to Taco Bell yesterday during the rainstorm and I got wet, even though they have overhangs. What kind of overhang is going to exist to keep the customers who are picking up their coffee?
We're not doing the building part, so I mean, I
Okay.
don't know what will be there for overhang. Most of them don't have an overhang because it's such a quick process of just in and out.
Really?
There's, they do serve some food, but it's like small sandwiches and,
All right. Okay.
but most of them I've seen, they don't usually put an overhang because it's such a quick
Right.
process in and out.
And the truck would generally take it off, pull them by.
Right.
Right. I agree with you, Jan, on those stormy days, it get
I-
tough.
I'm telling you, they have an overhang at Taco Bell and inside my car got wet.
Wow. Okay, all right. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Is there any public comment on this particular item? Any from the public would like to speak? Guess not. You see anything out in Zoom land?
No, sir.
Okay,
I do have one more question. Who are the owners? Are they in-state, partners, or what's their background?
Well, they're obviously into coffee, but tough to
Yep.
determine who they are because this is just a site plan application. So when they submit their building
There'll
plans,
be more,
that'll flush out who it is.
more info coming then. Thank you.
good deal.
I just have a quick question. If you What is your time frame? Do you think it'll be completed by?
Well, as a coffee drinker myself, I'd like to see it tomorrow, but, I'm guessing 6 to 9 months.
Yeah.
Fair statement.
It's a pretty quick operation because again, the building's only 25-40.
Right, right.
This is one of these deals where the rising tide raises all ships. You can see with the improvements that they're doing, they've done a great job on the site plan.
Mhm.
It's going to probably raise the opportunity to see the bar lifted on some of the other buildings in the area there.
Sure. And I'm like you, I'm ready for some outside coffee myself. Even if we get wet. All right. All right. I think, any other public discussion on this? Y'all good? Okay. It is now 6:07 and PM. I close the quasi judicial hearing and now reopen the July 12th, 2023 city council meeting. Anybody on the council have any comments concerning this? We all good? I'm good. I'm looking forward to it, man. I saw this on the agenda. I was like, man, can you be here tomorrow?
And they did a great job on this.
Yeah. No, and I just didn't realize that's what this was, that y'all were just, I thought this was somebody building a building here and, putting it in a shopping center or something like that. This is just a freestanding in the parking lot. Man, that's good stuff. Okay. Y'all have any other comments on this? Y'all good? Okay. What is this now? All right. Okay. Now.
I make that first proposed motion.
Number 9.
Yeah, I was gonna say, now
Move
we'll
to
go
find the site plan consistent with the city's comprehensive plan.
Second.
okay. We got to propose and assess any public comments on the site plan consistent with comprehensive plan from the public. Appear to be. Okay. Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, anyone opposed? No, unanimous. All right, can I get a proposal to move forward?
I move the site plan SPL 2023-0085 for PS Coffee LLC to be approved.
Second.
Second.
Okay.
Okay. Any discussion?
No,
Up
sir.
here? Any public discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, passes unanimous. All right, good luck. Like I say, get started. I'm ready for some good coffee. For 6 months, be the winter, that'd be good. That'll work. All right. Now, we have another judicial hearing on the site plan review. SPL 2023-0166 site plan application PZ 2023-0166 Heart of Florida Health Center, Inc. Notification of application and adjacent property owners on June 26th of 2023. All right, let me get my script here. The quasi hearing on site plan SPL 2023-0166 site plan application PZ 2023-0166 Heart of Florida Health Center, Inc. Marion Torres Martinez. Notification of applicants and adjacent property owners on 2026 of 23. It is now 6:10 and I close the regular meeting and open the quasi judicial hearing to discuss site plan review. SPL 2023-0166 site plan application, PZ 2023-0166 Heart of Florida Health Center, Inc. Maria Torres Martinez, notification to the applicants and adjacent property owners on June 26th of 2023. Andrew?
Yes, sir. Will anyone providing testimony on this item, please stand and raise their right hand? Under penalty of perjury, do you promise to tell the truth in the testimony you're about to give?
Yes.
Thank you. And
Okay.
do any members of council have any ex parte matters or any ex parte communications, pardon me, they need to disclose on this matter?
I do not.
No.
No.
Thank you. Mayor, that portion's been completed and the
Okay.
witnesses are sworn in.
All right. Michael Rankin.
Again, good evening, Mayor, members of the commission, staff, and guests in the audience. For the record, Michael Rankin, LPG Managing Partner. Got another unique project. I think you're going to be real excited with the results of this project. I was just out there earlier today. Nice building, doing some good business in town, but I think once they add on to the building, do the proper landscaping, I think you'll be real pleased with their efforts. This is the Heart of Florida Health Center. It's on 4.46 acres. The existing zoning is B4. This came to staff on 22 February as an existing building of 1,152 square feet. They're going to add 2,362 square feet. Is that correct? Okay.
Wow.
The majority of, and then we re-reviewed on 26 April. The majority of the issues that we had serving as your planners had to address with the parking, the buffers, and some landscaping. And you can see there's the existing property. Andy, can you go to, I think you, one or two more slides, please? Yeah, I thought we had the blue line in there.
This one, this one.
Is that the last page?
This is page 3, 4.
It should be right before the resolution in the packet. Yeah, you're getting there.
Is that it?
One more. I think there's a better one in there.
Oh,
Looks like redacted planning documents. There. I think you hit it there.
just locked me out of it.
Go one more. There you go. Can you work off that one? Is that satisfied? That's the current site?
Yes.
Okay. But we had a couple on there. We did make some changes. You'll see the existing building. Mark there. There you go. Thank you, Mandy. And then you'll see the proposed building. And the re-engineering of the retention and then the car park. And be mindful with this being a clinic, you're going to have people that are going to come in and come out by appointment. You're not going to have a situation where you've got cars stacking up trying to get in to see the doctor. They'll be scheduled accordingly. So the site plan has made some major improvements to the hydraulics of the property, as well as, again, prettying up the property. We did make sure that the adequate landscaping was in there. And then they're using the current sign, the monument sign. That's, yeah, they're not adding a sign to it. So basically they're adding 2,362 square feet to the existing 1,152 square feet. And I believe we learned at planning and zoning, this was the last planning and zoning meeting, was unanimous. I think they're picking up a doctor or two possibly. Yeah, so. So it'll be a, for lack of better words, an in and out clinic where you
Mhm.
make your appointment, go see the doc, and get out of there. Next people load in. So we, after the last review that we did on 26 April, they had satisfied all the planning and zoning codes for the city of Dunnellon, and we recommend approval.
Okay.
And the applicant is here, the engineer is here to represent them if you have any questions.
Okay. Would you like to speak?
Good evening, Mayor, Council, men and women, Paolo Mastroserio Engineering, 170 Southeast 32nd Place, Ocala, Florida. Here to answer any questions. Worked on this for the Florida. I believe that we've done a benefit not only to the site and the community. We had 2 driveways in and out. Now we've just made 1 point of connection. You know, off topic, if law enforcement has a car for sale for $500, I gladly take it. For 1,000, my son needs a vehicle. 16 years old, I'll take it.
Perfect.
Anyway.
Hey, we might can work something out.
We'll leave the police lights on it.
I'll take it. But anyway, I'm here to answer any questions.
But, okay, y'all, anybody have any questions down here? Y'all good? I mean, it's amazing.
They just have a quick one.
Go
How many employees are you gonna have?
I have it on the site plan. I couldn't
No, I'm just
tell you,
wondering.
Mr. Rex, what exactly it was gonna be, but on this site plan, I list the number of employees that was given to me by the Heart of Florida staff.
Okay.
I think it might be maybe 2 or 3 physicians and then maybe 6 staff. But it's on this plan.
Yeah,
Okay.
the only reason I'm asking is because I'm counting the parking spaces as one. Is there gonna be enough parking for people to come in and then enough parking for all the staff?
Yeah, I get your concern and I get your, obviously your question. We base the parking on what Heart of Florida had given me on the amount of staff that they would have. And, obviously employees, doctors and staff. And so,
And be mindful that the doctors aren't there together.
Yeah.
They come and go.
Okay.
But depending on what doctor's there, will be the patients that are there.
I'm not trying to give you a hard time. I just want to make sure that we don't have a problem down the road of
Yeah.
people
Right.
parking out on Pennsylvania because
Right.
somebody says, well, why didn't you check the parking?
yeah,
Right.
well, absolutely.
What's the total number of spots on the site?
What do we have? 2, 3,
13?
5, 6.
I see.
18? Okay, here's the packet. Okay. It's either 18 or 19.
Yeah, okay.
I count 18.
18 is what I counted, yeah.
Yeah, and this might not be. Yeah, I'm just checking on
So that'd be 8 staff, 10 patients. That sounds pretty sufficient, huh?
The back, it's the
Yeah, I just,
file.
because I know that in further discussions, we've discussed other health entities around here where that's a big issue where there's not enough parking.
No, I had the same question, Rex. You just got it first.
Are these 2 parking spaces here? Right here and right here?
Yes, ma'am.
So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
got
8,
16.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, plus the handicap.
Yeah, we have 16 spaces shown.
8 staff, 16, so then 8 patients.
Does
Okay.
8 staff include the additional doctors?
Yes. Yeah, and the square footage of both buildings and the use, the number of car park or parking spaces meets your code.
Okay. All right. We just are dealing with this all over town,
Oh, yeah.
especially parking, and that's the reason we want to make
Right,
sure
right.
that we don't add to the issue, but that sounds like you got enough there. Okay. All right,
And it's abundantly clear to the applicant that there is no street parking,
okay,
abundantly clear.
good, okay. All right. Do we have any public comments concerning this project? Appear to be, okay. All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. It is now 6:21 and I close the quasi judicial hearing and reopen the 2023 city council meeting. Council, do we have any other discussion? I agree with both of y'all. The parking was, it's on the picture, it's just hard to say, but you know, that does sound like that all being enough right now. Any questions, Jan? We're good with this?
I'm still wondering about the number of parking spaces. There's how many staff? 8?
There's 8 and there's 16 total. So then there's 8 patients. But then the 8 staff would include all the doctors, which all of them will be there at the same time.
And the professional planner has confirmed that the parking ratio meets the code,
Right. Right.
Okay.
So, yeah,
which I'm really pleased to have that presentation. I think it's super helpful and
Right.
I really appreciate it. We haven't always had that and
yeah,
it goes a long way.
Well,
right.
thanks for the opportunity. I hear you and understand, and this is a concern we had as well. Was there enough car park? And there is.
Right.
And respectfully, if you just be mindful that the 8 that were kind of hanging on working there, they're not all going to be there at the same time. They're going to come
Right.
and go. So a doctor may be there one day and not there the next 3 days,
Right.
something like, you know,
I
Get
got it.
dropped off, you know,
play golf.
Go fishing.
Go fishing, go on the rainbow, whatever. Okay. All right.
I like to propose, I move that we find the site plan consistent with the city's comprehensive plan.
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion up here amongst us? Any public discussion? All right. So we've got, you moved to that. All right. You ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
I
All opposed? Good, unanimous. All right.
I move that site plan SPL 2023-0166 for Heart of Florida Health Center Incorporated be approved.
Got a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion up here? All in favor?
I
And all opposed? None. Okay. All right. Now. Moving on. See where we are.
Well,
All right, okay. Purchasing and installation of 2 garage doors at Public Works. Do we have any public comments on that? Appear to be. Do I have a proposed motion? Would anybody like to make that?
okay, I move to authorize the purchase and installation of 2 garage doors for the Public Works building as presented.
Okay, have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion up here? And I do remember this is using, we're needing the garage doors, obviously, but this is actually, we set aside enough money on the first one. This is money that's left over to actually cover the cost of the second. Right, okay, that's what I remember. Okay, good.
Does this mean the building, all the garage doors will then be adequate or?
All of them will be replaced.
Right, and means we can remove the $20,000 expenditure from the upcoming budget.
Exactly.
That was.
Already sitting there.
Right,
That's great. No, that's perfect. Yeah, I guess the next question is, I know last time it was like, we got to propose, we got a bid, and then at the time we got around to it, it was we had to get another bid or something.
Yeah, no, this bid's good right now. We actually talked to them today, so.
Good.
Best that we'll be able to let them know.
All right. Good deal. Good deal. I'm glad to hear that. All right, so we got a motion and a second to purchase these garage doors. We have any discussion? On the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Oh, okay. That takes care of that. Let's get our garage doors, then we can be storm-proof for the next hurricane. All right, item number 13, agreement AGR 2023-19 Johnson Controls Infusion System and agreement AGR 2023-20 Johnson Controls Fire add-on. Is there any public comment?
Wally, if I may,
Yes.
to perform due diligence, we're in the process of getting another quote so that we can make sure this is the best. You know, so we have a comparison service, comparison price.
Okay.
So I'd like to ask this agenda item be moved to the next workshop for discussion, and we'll have the other quote by then. We can compare and move forward.
So that would put it in August, okay. All right. Chief, does that work for you? Or excuse me, Chad, I'm sorry. This is you.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Chief's just fine with it.
All right, Chad, are you gonna be okay if we put it off?
Yeah, we
To
had
get-
Johnson Control because the city had it, but
Mhm.
after doing a little more research, PD has ADT still,
Mhm.
so. We get a comparable quote from both companies.
Well, good.
Great.
Yeah, let's get them competing against each other. Okay, so you want to move this to next go around so we have a better idea of
Yes,
what
sir.
it costs me. That's fine.
I mean,
All
I
right,
just
y'all,
want to ask what you just said about the police have have ADT, if it's the same, it does the same thing as what we're trying to do with the Johnson?
Yeah, we have the same kind of security system, but.
So-
Compare.
Could we look at maybe finding a way to maybe condense them so we don't have to deal with?
What we have is we have a ADT with the police, we have Johnson Controls with this building,
Oh,
and I think ADT with the firehouse.
that I'm sure.
Yeah, well, anyway, we're already split up between the two buildings, so that's why we want to take a look at both quotes, see which gives us the better price for the same service, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And if we can bundle, you know, once we determine which one we want to make sense to go with, if we can bundle type thing, we'll definitely talk to them about it.
good deal. Okay. So everybody good with just moving this to the next workshop, get the final numbers? I'm good with that. All right. We don't need to vote on that, do we, Andrew? We're good.
Consensus would be fine to move
Okay,
it.
all right,
Sure.
sure, consent of that. Okay, that's item number 13. Item number 14. Department head reports. Wow.
Yes, Mayor, the only thing I have is, I put a letter up there from
Mhm.
TPO.
Right.
An email from Rob Baums, and there's a draft letter attached to that, where they're asking for a letter of support from the city council for a grant that they're applying for, with the U.S. Department of Transportation. And this is sort of a walk-on. But if you're interested in, doing that, we would just need a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the letter of support, and we can put that on city letterhead and get that out to TPO.
And if you may have said this, I'm sorry, I was trying to read while you were talking, but it does say it, this is at no cost to us locally to do this.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I read this and if this will help them, I think we ought to try to do it. Anybody disagree, agree? Y'all good with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so would y'all make a motion that I could sign this letter, assuming we can get it typed real quick?
I'd like to make a motion that the mayor signs the letter of support for the county for the Protect Federal Grant.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion up here? Any discussion in the public? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, passes unanimous.
That's all I have, sir.
All righty.
Chad, do you have anything?
A few things, not much. We would talk about the Duke Energy, the
meters we had out there. So
Mhm.
we was able to get the 6 meters turned off. And we should not see that bill on next month's bill. So they should be gone, which is a savings. I had it wrote down on the bike. One of many other things. It's a savings.
Yeah, it's 2 to 2,500 a year, something like
Yeah,
that.
Wow.
So on Box Springs, we talked about, we was having the stormwater issue and stuff out there. We're still waiting for FGUA to give us a meter hookup on a hydrant, so we can get them in there and run a camera through and bore that out.
Figure out what
Hopefully
that,
get rid of that flooding problem there.
right.
So last month we had the fire inspections done on all the public buildings. We managed to go through this week, and City Hall, Police Department, Fire Department, and Art Gallery will be all compliant now. The only thing we're waiting on is the Optitel. They have to get their system tested, and they are working on that with their inside people to get that tested. So we're gonna call for a reinspection on that then, once we hear that.
Okay.
We was able to close out 52 work orders this month. Besides doing our regular mowing and daily duties. The community trust annual evaluation for Blue Run and Ernie Mills Park been completed and all turned in. That's done and off the list. And on code enforcement, since June, or since our last meeting, we had 9 new cases. We was able to close 11 cases. Give us 63 cases for the year, and we're about three-fourths of our cases are closed with compliance. So
Good.
we're working pretty good with that.
You know, getting a lot done.
That's about all I have.
Okay,
Can I ask Chad something real quick?
sure.
Is there any way that you could just check on, there's a tree at the emergency exit of the Blue Cove out back behind Just a Cupcake. We have like an emergency gate that's locked there. And there's been a tree down for some time. I'm not sure whose responsibility the tree is. But if you could
That's behind what?
take a look
Was it behind?
Just a cupcake.
behind Just a Cupcake.
Okay. Yeah,
You know, that's that.
Yeah, there's that new parking lot we made, and then there's like an emergency gate for the Blue Cove
it was
on, I
tomorrow.
think it's Short Tower Way.
Yeah, it's Short Tower Way is where it is.
We
Thanks.
can look at it tomorrow.
It might belong to a resident, or the city might be responsible. I'm not really sure.
And we got property back in there on that road and stuff, so we'll check.
Thank you.
Okay.
Dan?
I just have one thing I just wanted to bring of the next budget workshop, Monday, July 24th at 3 p.m. I don't have more documents.
Okay. I will not be attending. I will be out of town on my vacation, so I will miss your melodious voice.
What time is it at you? 3 p.m.
But I don't think,
What day was that?
Monday, July.
Gosh, I didn't have that down. Okay, Monday.
And on that subject too, thank you, Rex, for reminding me, at our August meetings, Vice Mayor Inskeep will not be at the workshop on the 7th. And Mayor Dunn will not be at the council meeting that month, and Tim, you'll have to run the meeting.
All right, I get the hammer.
It's a gavel.
Oh, shoot.
Depends upon who wields it.
Whoever can grab it first.
Chief,
Okay.
Chief, do you have anything more?
All right. First, thank y'all for your votes today.
Thank you.
Making the police department advance leaps and bounds. Couple of things, the emergency management sandbag stuff. We will put it over on Bostic. We found a couple areas. Some of the things we ran into there by the basketball court is the way that the water flows. It would wash the sand away. So if you put it there, it'd be gone.
Fine.
But we found another suitable spot there. The other locations that we looked at, even if we use them as secondary type things, we're probably gonna run into problems with schools. So schools are still in, car lines coming, and that's your sandbag. So
Okay.
we were able to find some spots over there in Bostic. If it happens, we'll work out the logistics and who's gonna man it and things like that.
Cool. Thank you, chief.
Um, the other thing, police department saving money too, because we're not paying phone bills or the MiFi connection, so. And then we found out we had some other little phone lines, kind of like the water meters that didn't exist that we were paying for.
Oh, gosh.
So not paying for those anymore. We had a couple cell phones that like just didn't even, they're in our hands, but they don't exist. There's no numbers that we were still paying for. So that got taken care of. Blue Run Park, there with the signs for no mooring and no swimming, those have been ordered. Whenever they come in, we'll get them put up. That'll help us with managing that stuff. And currently, the police department is still answering calls for service. We're still answering calls out on the river. And then just yesterday, we had somebody over at the Chamber of Commerce in their underwear running around the building with one shoe. So we're still answering calls for service, handling the good stuff. Then the only other thing, July 28th through August 2nd, I will be at the Florida Police Chiefs Conference. And during that time, Lieutenant Bray will be in charge.
Okay.
Very good.
Anybody got anything for me?
And your guys I went by there the other day and they busy learning and training and all that good stuff. All that still going smoothly.
Well, I didn't want to be embarrassed today, so I didn't bring him over. So my plan was to bring him over just before 5 before y'all got started and introduce them. But just things happened. They were in different places and I had like one to bring over.
That's fine. That's totally fine.
That time they're all together, I'll come over, meet you guys.
Okay. That sounds great. That sounds great. No, I'm just glad things seem to be moving in the right direction. And
I made a trip to the College of Central Florida to the police academy today. I spoke to a class there
Mhm.
and their eyes just lit up with me talking to them about the things that are happening here. And openings we'll have and we'll still have openings, probably
Right.
come November when they graduate. So.
good, good deal. The only question I had, I know my observation of Blue Run Park over the 4th of July, it was better than I was afraid it was going to be, I guess would be the way I would put it. It still was very crowded, a lot going on there, but it seemed to be somewhat controlled chaos.
That's all Lieutenant Bray.
And I know y'all spent a lot of time down there trying to educate people mainly, and I know Ron, you were heavily involved in that. And how's that going?
The Blue Run Park is actually doing very well.
Mhm.
It's the southwest portion where they can come in through city property. And that's what's actually getting out of control.
Right,
We have some vandals that are out there breaking glass and
Right.
trying to set up booby traps. Over the course of the weekend and especially holiday, we saw as many as 100 people up underneath that bridge. So it gets pretty out of control there. Because as soon as they find out they can't swim the exit or entry side, they go up and over the bridge and go over there. So it's just gonna be a challenge.
right,
It's a change and we're still moving through that, so.
And
right.
the signs are gonna help drastically. Right now, if we're not there, there's nobody there to tell them.
Right.
So we can get the signs
Right.
out there.
Now, are the signs going on the Blue Run Park side or are they going on
The no swimming will go on the Blue Run Park,
okay,
and then the no mooring will go on the southwest side.
gotcha,
Where the city property is, they currently have the no trespassing
Right.
sign,
right,
that they have the trail beat through, going right next to
right,
it. That, now, the DEP sign that was put up has been taken down again. They're gonna put it up, they're gonna put some controls in to try and prevent that from vandalism as well,
Okay.
over by the swing, the old.
Right, right.
So,
I know this has been batted around by the council for years. That property there you're talking about across from Blue Run Park.
Correct.
I believe is city property, and the idea has come up a number of times of putting a fence there and it never seems to go anywhere. And I do understand, well, if we fence this off, they'll just go around the other side of the bridge and come in from the swampy side. Is there anything we can do to help slow that down or do something about that?
Currently, I think there has been discussion that there was fence already purchased.
No, we had fence out, leftover fence.
Oh,
out.
okay.
It was-
That there was a plan for possibly installing a fence there. And then we're going to contact the state, continue to work with DEP
Right,
and then the state who owns the bridge,
right,
so that we can limit access on the opposite side. So we don't get them coming in from both ways.
sure.
And then that way we can control the access there.
Right, I mean, yeah, like we're all learning is you close it off someplace, it pops up somewhere else. Well, it just popped up across the river, is what it did. And it's gonna be a problem to prevent people or educate people that it
Correct.
really is not safe to do this.
Well, somebody's gonna get hurt
Right.
either because of the vessel traffic that comes through the bridge.
Exactly,
Or somebody's gonna fall down that hill.
right,
It was, to my surprise, seeing some of the elderly people that were going over there and traversing that to go swimming.
oh, exactly. That's like, I see the bikes go up there,
Yeah.
you know, and the little kids get off and run down the hill. You see the moms and dads and grandparents, they're going down there too. Well, somebody's really gonna get hurt. Cause they're gonna stumble and fall right in the river.
Yep.
But, okay,
I would definitely add in some more, working on. We can't have them break those water pipes.
no, that swing keeps coming up.
We saw them, kids up there. That bridge and they stand on that water pipe
Right.
and do backflips off.
Right.
So. Definitely trying to figure something out there.
It's a challenge.
We look at the fence and stuff in there, but we have some of the things we ran into was connecting it to this bridge,
To lean over
which would be the state.
into the mic, Chad.
Oh,
Microphone.
so we looked at the fence, putting the fence up and connecting it. Some of the things we ran into was connecting the fence to the state's bridge.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have to have a door and stuff in there because you have to have utility access to get in and out of there.
Oh,
And locks and
God.
keys because what the utilities there that they have, so we'd have to have a door in there. And if we locked it, then with the keys and who would have to have it
Oh, my
and
God.
stopping people from getting in it.
Right,
So
Okay.
it was some of the things. And then when we was there watching, it was just coming, like I said, coming from Swampies, floating down, climbing up on the thing and going up there.
the other thing is, like you said, that swing of that pipe under the river, that's not good either. It can't be. Okay.
It's posting it.
I know that's a
like-
challenge for you guys and, you know, again, I think over time, the more educated these folks get and the more we discourage them from doing this, maybe they'll slow down.
And we're up for the challenge and, with the FWC and Sheriff Department working with us with the marine units,
Mm-hmm.
you know, there's gonna be visibility out there.
Right,
So once people, kind of like what we're getting ready to do with the speeding in the city, once people realize.
we're there,
Cost attached to some stuff.
right. Well, we appreciate what y'all are doing for sure. All right,
For sure. And I would just say, Wally, that I think as we work on those efforts, I mean, inevitably, I think it's going to move up to Swampy. So keeping a code enforcement eye on things that are happening at Swampies, which also tends to become a swimming area. There's a lot of people with the tubes now. You see the tubes all the way up stacked as people are getting out at Swampies, in and out. So that's really becoming another access point that, you know, as we try to drive people, that's
And-
going to be the next place they show up.
I totally agree. And the other thing I keep wondering, every time when I go by there, you know, it's nothing against Swampies. There's an awful lot of vehicles in Swampies, and I'm not sure they're all there eating, okay? I mean, there just can't be. I mean,
Yes,
there's just,
Become a bit of a public parking lot.
exactly. And then, you know, I don't know how you prevent that, but it's just a problem. Okay,
Well,
yeah,
to me, if we don't get this on a workshop, we're gonna be here talking about this next year. I know August is filling up workshop wise pretty quick. And I don't, you know, we're laying a lot on the different law enforcement agencies. We're asking Chad to, code to look at that. At some point, maybe a September agenda, or if we want to get through season, we can add this to the agenda and figure out what we got to do, because we got to contact the state. Everything that Chad just mentioned about state requirements, utility requirements, same thing that the Ron just mentioned. Otherwise, we're going to be talking about this next year.
We will. One thing I've done is reached out to Jim Couillard and Kathy Bryant and asked them to come to a meeting, I think in August. Is that when I asked them to come? I can't remember.
You asked them to come to the August workshop.
Right, that's what I thought. August workshop to discuss this whole Blue Run Park situation, and the county knowing and understanding the boat problem, the traffic problem, the tubing problem, and just so for two things: one, to educate them on some of the issues we're dealing with over here, and look for their support and advice on their thoughts on how to compromise and figure this thing out. Again, now they don't have as much control. They have control, can help us with the Blue Run Park side. It sounds like that's getting better, but I think if they really come and understand, like Ron can explain the issues there at the bridge, you know, how can we make this better? Because I think that's what it's going to take. And maybe we reach out to these other agencies too and try to, like FWC, and have them all sit here and listen to this. I agree. Every year this is a problem. Okay. And every year it kind of gets Band-Aid put on it, and then it comes back again and it's worse or better or whatever. But I did reach out to ask them to come. Maybe we reach out to FWC and the rest of them and get them all here in August. And again, I don't know what August is going to look like, but I hate to say it, we may have to just move something off August. And because to me, until tubing season's over, this is just going to be bad. Or the
We'll
kids
remove Tim's checklist.
do what?
We'll remove Tim's checklist again.
Yeah, and because Tim's not going to be here for the August workshop, there may be benefit to scheduling at a time that he can be with us.
Oh, it would be. I didn't know he wasn't going to be here.
Going to invite all those people. I mean, I don't want to start pushing special meetings because I know
Right,
that we do that
right.
a lot.
Well, maybe we get the county here and then see how that goes. And then in September, we'll get another group here.
No, I'll be on Zoom, so that won't be an issue.
Okay.
What I spoke about Mandy with, and I don't have any problem participating.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do, you know how hard it is to hear from people on Zoom.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't want to get into,
No,
you
no.
know, hey, I can't hear you, and pester everybody that way. There's basically two issues that we're kind of talking about here. We've got everything we just spoke about with the congestion, et cetera, et cetera. We have 5 documents though that govern Blue Run Park. Those 5 documents, we have findings from 2 different firms that have not been addressed since 2016. The documents conflict, et cetera. So until we get those basic documents fixed, for lack of a better term.
I think I know what you're saying, and I think that it could be beneficial to get organized in such a way to identify all of the issues in these documents and to be able to have that conversation prior to
Right.
the more public conversation. So you look a little perplexed, but the documents, if you start reading from the beginning of the creation of the park and the different documents and agreements, that maybe there's some things within there. I'll just make one example because I think it's a good example that we've talked about before is like having advisory committee. Is that what you call it? So that's an example of one of the things that is listed in those agreements that has never come to fruition. So as we begin to try to work together about the park and make more decisions about the park, there's some feeling that making sure we're in line with all of those agreements that have led to this point are in line. Otherwise, we're just picking up the conversation midstream. Does that make sense?
Yes, right. And just to add on, I think we need to understand up here before the issues with the documents so that we can communicate it intelligently with all these different parties.
and get the feedback, and maybe they'll tell us that some of these things are resolved or some of these things aren't a concern. But it just seems like we need to get on the same page about the whole park before we begin to tackle how we're gonna compromise on the problems.
Right. I know I've asked about that, who the commission is and all like that. And the last thing I heard, the two members of the Blue Run Commission are Jim Couliard, who is with Marion County, and an individual who does not live in the city. And there's no city resident on that commission.
And I've heard other people named to be on that commission, so I think it's important that it's documented who that is
Right.
and that we know what's happening with that.
Right, and that's only one of many,
Oh, it is.
many findings
Right.
that these two firms have found.
Right.
Now are you referring to the compliance audit?
Yes, the two compliance audits.
Two compliance audits?
Right, yes. Andrew performed one
Oh,
in
okay.
2016 or 15, and then this other audit company,
Okay,
after Andrew did, also performed an audit, and both of their findings are very similar.
okay.
Yeah, and I would just piggyback that when I spoke publicly once about one of the audits, and there was a lot of input that maybe it wasn't what it seemed, or that there was just more to learn about it. So I read the document, I took it at face value, and then learned a lot of things afterwards. So I do think it's something that we all need to be on the same page about before we, like I talked about the documents very assertively as fact. And I learned after the meeting that some people called me and said that maybe, they didn't agree with how the document was being interpreted.
So how do you all want to go about this?
Um,
Do we want to put this off until September?
It's gonna be a big one. It's gonna be a
We
lengthy
Probably
one.
should, let's get the short-term rental thing done, so we don't have.
Oh, we're gonna get the short-term
Right,
rental
right.
thing done.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's gonna be fairly cumbersome. Because again, there's 5 documents, there's 2 reviews.
Have we all seen all that?
Yeah,
I know I've got some of it. I don't
Yeah.
remember two audit
I sent
compliance.
I sent a link to you all.
correct.
A while back
Yes.
to all the documents, all the Blue.
That's
Run
what I was
documents.
thinking.
In March, it was quite a while ago.
Right. Right, okay. I agree. This is gonna be a mess trying to get through Blue Run Park. But again, I've asked Marion County to come just to listen and to see what we're dealing with. And not anticipating going through the Blue Run plan. It was really what we're dealing with in the park. And then but this, if all this compliance audits and stuff don't match, or we don't understand them, then we need to have somebody explain what it is we don't understand. I mean,
Yeah, I think there's value to us making sure that all of us have the documents, and then all of us going through the documents, and then scheduling a time for all of us to talk about the documents, and there could be public comment about the
Mhm.
documents.
mhm,
And that would at least get us all in the know
okay,
about the park.
Mandy, I just forwarded you the email that you forwarded us, just so it's on top. You can resend it. Because I don't think I can. I
Okay.
don't think I'm allowed to. put it
So
that way.
are we gonna go ahead and move forward with discussion if the county can be here on the August workshop and then maybe move the documents? to the
Yeah.
September workshop.
do that later. That's fine with me, if that's
that-
all right with y'all.
That sounds fine.
I want them to see some of the problems we got
I'm
over
with
there.
you.
I keep
Gotcha.
trying to get them to hear and listen. And I think they are listening, and I think but I think if we kind of express some of the real concerns we're having, just dealing with Blue Run Park and
We can also
Ask
use
for-
that meeting as a kickoff.
Right.
Mm.
So that they understand, we're getting ready to take a look at these 5 documents,
Right.
because, they're busy. I'm sure that this is
Right.
nowhere's on their radar, I'm
Right.
sure.
right,
We can express all that, more to come later as far as the
Mhm.
documents. Here's the issue with the congestion right now.
Right.
And,
If we can just clearly outline what we intend to talk about at the workshop with the county,
sure.
so that we have, kind of parameters on what we're going to be addressing, so that
Okay.
not all over the place.
You follow that or not?
Is somebody gonna give me a list?
I'll try to put something together.
Okay,
Okay. Because I've already kind of, Kathy Bryant responded, and I responded to her on some of it, but I'll sit down and try to organize my thoughts better
Okay.
and get that out to you and to Jim, and then we can put it in the agenda so everybody can see it.
Okay.
And again, I was not anticipating reviewing all 5 of these documents at that time, but I
Understood.
agree. I think it would lead up to, okay, we're dealing with this, but we want to have a future meeting with you guys on this park situation and all these documents and have them help some of this to us.
Perfect.
And I know Andrew's told me numerous times, he has the book on his desk with all this stuff in it.
Yeah, and if I may, counsel, I can provide some feedback on some of these things, and I think that, you know, I've become very familiar with them, at least like I have them as a frequent reference. I have to go back and look at them. I don't have them memorized, but I know them. And I think with the audit done by the consultant, whoever the city selected, that particular vendor, I know there was some criticisms from the county because it was an out-of-state auditor. They do a lot of work in the state of Florida, and I think it all boiled down to 1 or 2 kind of controversial, questions that were really answered by the state and FWC, and now that's been dealt with as far as the dealing with the vendors in Blue Run Park. And I think the most controversial issues have been resolved.
Mhm.
It really kind of boils down to really, I think, where it's at, if there's still outstanding problems and so forth, and where it's not clear really where you all are going, who is involved in, the city's authority is broad but limited in certain areas. If any of the documents need to be resolved to compensate for that. And there are, those are difficult to, well, it would require the county's complete consent to modify those because they're auto renewing and they're locked in.
Right.
And so really the biggest thing with them is identifying, I think, the problems out there. And once staff is aware of it, I can assist in, it ultimately becomes a pitching solution of how to address those. It's more of what are the problems as of, review of the documents. Now, there are some conflicting statements within some of the documents and so forth, but those conflicts aren't necessarily irreconcilable. It's I think more of a problem oriented focus and identifying those. But I'm sure if you were to go through some of those documents, you'd have lots of questions for me, lots of questions for staff and for the chief, anybody that what's actually going on there. So I think you're at a very good starting point is my point here. And I think that, again, the real controversial aspects of those things, at least from the county's, point of view, those have been resolved. They might not like those resolutions, I don't want to speak for them. But now we know what the rules are at Blue Run Park, and, it's operating that way, and it's different than it was when those audits were performed because there's new rules in place. So.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You were about to say
Right.
something.
Just beat this horse a little bit more. 2 major things that I see are areas where it's very vague as to far as who's performing what services. The other areas is very vague is the economic situation, the financial situation of who pays for what. It says in many of these documents, the city and the county will share in this, but it doesn't give percents. It doesn't give anything like that. And right now, when I go through the budget, the city's pretty much picking up most everything. And when I look at the future, what's going to happen in the future, the city is going to be picking up way more expense. So those are the items that I think are pretty important that we need to figure out now. And I'll be done. I'm done beating it.
Okay. You have any questions? No, I agree with you because I mean, like you pointed out to me in these meetings, okay, we're talking about this bathroom situation, and then back when this was all originated and we were going to do this was like in 2007 or 8, and we owned a utility company and a sewer company. Well, now we don't. And so when that was kind of envisioned, I think we could have handled it. Now, when we have to supply the water and the sewer for the restrooms and whatever lift stations may be involved in getting that over to the water treatment plant, that becomes an expense of ours more than likely, that at the time this was all kind of negotiated, we had a way of doing it. And now we really don't. And I totally agree with that. All right, any other liaison department heads, anybody needs to talk? We good? Okay. Mr. City Attorney, do you have any additional comments?
Nothing specific, council. The only thing that I would state is kind of re-echoing some of my past comments. There are a number of new regulations and rules. I've seen a few articles floating out and around, being sent out via staff on some of the new regulations. And with these regulations, I suppose really if we want to try to find a bright side to it, the only bright side is could have been worse. That's kind of the consensus with some of them. But because the bills did morph down and believe it or not, some of these were watered down from what they were originally, were drafted to be, which some of these are really changing the face of, the way that local governments can operate. And it's a very big departure from 1968 Home Rule Constitution provisions. That being said, that's where we're at. There are a number of rules and regulations that we need to comply to. I've already got some questions from staff on some of them. And so, I'll be addressing some of them piecemeal as they come up to provide you information rather than like a broad sort of, this has happened. I mean, a lot of these things you're aware of, but there are going to be some things coming to you and that I'll be addressing with staff. And I know that you'll be kept in the loop on those as the changes are made that need to be made to accommodate the changes in the law. And that's all I have tonight.
Okay. Yeah, I have seen some of that. Okay. Anybody up here got any additional thoughts, comments before we adjourn?
I'd just like to remind everybody that Thursday, the 27th at noon is going to be the unveiling of the Florida Paddling Trails Association recognition of Dunnellon as a blue waste community. And hope everybody can be there.
And it's at noon,
There'll be
right?
food and beverage. I'm gonna get a canopy up. And thinking about asking John Sims to come and drum his guitar and sing for us.
Good deal.
Also, there's something else. Oh, again, this is totally up to council, but I had mentioned about putting on next month's agenda, or was it September? I'm not sure, but I'm bringing it up again, and that is to get the big commercial truck rigs off of Chestnut and Pennsylvania Avenue, detouring them to Powell Road. If we could start that discussion and see how that could be done through TPO.
Okay.
So
Sounds
can we
good.
put that on the agenda for August, or would you like to wait till September?
Probably September.
I'm gonna say
October, right? I think
September more than
August is
likely.
crazy full.
Yeah, okay.
All right, September discussion of rerouting the truck route.
Mhm. And that would take Department of Transportation would have to sign off on that
Of course,
because Powell is
of course.
not a highway. Where right now
Yes,
it is.
Yeah, there's already been a lot of discussion about that intersection at Powell and Cedar having to be completely redone if we were to do that. So
Mm-hmm.
traffic study, engineering, and
All kind of good
a lot of
stuff.
stuff that need to be done. Yeah.
Okay. All right, anybody else got anything?
Yeah,
I'm really trying to end this by
Right.
7:00.
got one more, Wally.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna ruin your 7:00. Chad, correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm not updated. We need an RRC contact. We have the signs in for the Blue Run Park signs. But we're not able to contact anybody in RRC. Go
I
ahead.
did. I got through to Bill Bibbert
Okay,
and he's supposed to be calling Chad tomorrow.
okay, gotcha. Then, okay, so that's just where the signs are gonna go. How about the payment, their portion of the payment for the
We've already
signs?
received it.
Thank you very much. Adjourned.
Okay. Do we have a motion to
job.
adjourn?
Move.
Do you have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting's over. Okay, thank you.